Big good one here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. So in October, I'm going to be reviewing a lot of horror movies, and this one I actually missed. We're going to be reviewing Halloween, the 2018 version. I'm not sure what else to call it, but this one, it disregards all the prequels, and it's 40 years after the events of the first one, teasing the ultimate standoff between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. And people already know the outcome of this one, so I don't expect it to get great traction. But let's talk about it. So for me, Jamie Lee Curtis and Will Patton still the show. Their characters are the highlight of this film, other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Michael Myers. Their characters take the cake. They have the best performances. It makes you want to see more of Will Patton's character. Unfortunately, you do not get a lot. The kind of There is a moment in there where Laurie and his character, Officer Hawkins, are in the same frame with guns drawn side by side. It felt like the makings of an iconic tag team to take on Michael. Iconic duo. That single shot right there had so much potential in it, and unfortunately, we never get there. But that felt pretty iconic, and they bring in this kind of new Loomis style character that's supposed to be similar to the iconic Dr. Loomis. He had potential himself. These three characters really served to capture the essence and spirit of the original, much like the cinematography. The feel and tone of this film meshes and blends well with the original. Despite all the advancements of modern day technology, it just felt very attached to that time period. In essence, in appearance, it felt like we were there, and I thought that was well executed. And there are some really great shots. The music exceptional as always. Michael's theme song. There were some really great shots of Michael stalking, watching, waiting, knowing he's out there. Like the tension, the suspense, him getting straight to business too. Really brutal kills. He racked up quite the kill count in comparison to the legacy he's left on this film's timeline, whereas he's only like killed his sister and 5 other random people when he escaped that night so long ago that damaged this version of Laurie Strode. This version of Laurie Strode, it does a good job of conveying like psychological effects, the toll they take on people, and the domino effect it's had on her family tree from her daughter to her granddaughter. It's just owned her life, and to an extension, it's owned them. So there were a lot of great stuff in there, and Laurie became this kind of doomsday prepper in anticipation for the day Michael returns, and there were a lot of great elements in that. So, but there was a lot of potential that was never met. There was a lot to be desired. So with that said, let's just go ahead and move forward into Act 2 of this review. My personal bias. So my personal bias on this one, the film disregards all the sequels while repeating things from them. That, accompanied with the title Halloween, gives this film quite the ego, as if it's already labeling itself or comparing itself to a masterpiece. And I can completely understand disregarding Halloween Resurrection because you want to bring back that iconic character, Laurie Strode. But why disregard the rest, some of the best in the franchise? The decision to make her have a daughter instead of a son, to remove the family ties between her and Michael. the the legacy in this film is that he's killed his sister, got locked away, escaped one day, and killed 5 more random people while leaving Laurie damaged for life. To me, all this stuff just undermines how iconic both Michael and Laurie Strode are, and especially Laurie Strode. It undermines how relevant she is, and ultimately, why she and everybody else thinks she matters so much to Michael, since he's just out to kill anybody. I feel like this film has quite the ego with its title and everything it's due. There are a lot of moments in there that just feel like it's trying to disrespect some of the other stuff in the franchise, uh, like the mention of her being a sister was just to make people feel better. So that's my personal bias on this. Now, this may not negatively impact your view of the film, especially if you haven't seen the original or grew up watching the originals. So with that said, let's just move into Act 3. Alright, so all the negatives on this one, there's a lot of comedy and focus on characters that take away from the tension and suspense. Laurie Strode's granddaughter, for instance, the dance romance, disposable phone subplot. It exists just to keep her in the dark and to get rid of her phone, whereas you should be letting this character know Michael Myers is out there. He could be anywhere. He could be everywhere. He could be anyone in a mask. And to really build up that tension and amplify things and highlight his ability as a stalker. Like, there's so much in here that's missed from this opportunity. Another thing is due to, Michael Myers, he wanders around killing people at random, but for some reason ignores a baby, a child, trick-or-treaters. There's no rhyme or reason. Historically, though, it's not completely out of character, out of ordinary for Michael to selectively behave in this manner, but more so in this one, it makes zero sense, since he has no real goal but to kill everyone. I kept wondering how or why he would bother to go after Laurie Strode with the removal of the traditional sibling plot associated to this character and everything that comes along with it, like the plot convenience of him running into this kind of podcast couple or whatever they were. They were portrayed by great actors, unfortunately underused. So him conveniently running into them, killing them, getting a hold of his mask, which how did the podcast guy get a hold of the mask? How do you get that out of evidence for this? It just makes no sense to have him get his mask back, and you got the card there with all the evidence, all the addresses and stuff I'm sure they had for all these characters, the granddaughter, the mother, the daughter. You've got the address for all these characters, so removing the sibling plot rivalry, takes away a lot, and they kind of poke fun of it, like, oh, that's just to make people feel better, the rumor that they were related or whatever. Since they're disregarding all the previous entries, that does not work. You destroyed a lot of opportunity there to cut straight to the point and really amplify things. So the film also literally calls the new Doctor, words out of Laurie's own mouth, the new Loomis, which just takes you out of the film, takes you out of the reality of this one, and this one's bent on being more realistic. But doing things like this doesn't help your case. This film is just full of horror cliches, by which I mean characters making the worst, most idiotic decisions. Even Laurie herself has prepped for 40 years. It's owned her entire life, and the numerous mistakes she makes are just scream at your screen baffling. And the twist with the Doctor did nothing for the film except throwaway characters that had a strong presence and could have led to all kinds of interesting dynamics, because the brief scenes we got felt like something more iconic could have been in play, something more iconic could have happened. But the film was way more interesting and subverting expectations after intentionally pointing out all these things, kind of breaking the third wall. There were a lot of things in it that were pretty negative and didn't work for me. I know a lot of people are going to feel it, but at the end of the day, so it is a 6 out of 10 for me. On the entertainment level, it's really thrilling, really engaging, really suspenseful. You never know where he is, when he's coming. And as a horror movie, it does its job. It does it well. And as a Halloween movie, it does its job well. But on the negative side of things, it is only a 6 out of 10 because it has tremendous potential to live up to the original. However, in its strange sense of direction, it derails itself. And at the same time, it has the awareness that gives it an ego that disregards, disrespects, and the other earlier entries in the franchise, while at the same time repeating some of the mistakes, tropes, and all that stuff. So that's why I give it a 6 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Maybe you feel different. Maybe you feel like this is one of the greatest entries in the franchise. Or maybe you agree with me. Let me know your favorite moments, your least favorite moments, and like I said, comment down below. Fake Goodwin here. Eventually we will. Like, subscribe, share. I appreciate you watching this, and I hope you enjoyed the review.